In 2013, 4 Stanford students launched a website called PaloAltoDelivery.com. It was a single, bare-bones webpage featuring a phone number and a few basic menus. When the very first order came in for pad thai, there was no sophisticated algorithm to dispatch a driver. One of the founders got into his car and drove it over himself. They balanced classes by day with frantic manual dispatching by night. Despite having almost no real infrastructure, CEO Tony Su and his co-founders set out to raise a $2.4 million seed round. Top-tier investors were incredibly skeptical. When they interviewed at Y Combinator, partner Paul Buchheit ranked them in the bottom half of the batch. The most memorable piece of advice they received from early meetings was that they should try making refrigerator magnets. They eventually secured that multi-million-dollar check, but they didn't do it by pivoting their core business model. They won over those exact skeptics using a severely unpolished, visually plain 12-slide presentation. The deciding factor between an investor's rejection and a life-changing term sheet is rarely about graphic design. It comes down to a specific logical sequence, one that prioritizes evidence over aesthetic. The opening slides of that seat deck completely bypassed software terminology. Instead, they focused entirely on the fact that independent restaurants had strong customer demand for delivery, but absolutely no way to actually offer it. This graphic separates lead generation platforms from courier apps, isolating the massive local logistics gap where mom-and-pop restaurants were left behind. Into that exact hole, they introduced DoorDash simply as delivery as a service, an on-demand fleet ready for local shops. Founders often make the mistake of dropping massive architecture diagrams or convoluted tech stacks onto early slides, attempting to prove how smart their software is. By establishing a consensus on the problem first, the founders ensured their solution no longer felt like a sales pitch, it felt like the necessary next step. A persuasive narrative only gets you to the middle of the pitch. For many investors, the traction slide is where the conversation shifts from evaluating a theory to auditing a business. Instead of a speculative 5-year revenue projection, they presented a clean graph demonstrating a solid 31% week-over-week growth rate. Next to that, they dropped a single indisputable metric, $1.5 million in annualized restaurant sales. That volume of cash wasn't coming from a national rollout. It was generated entirely from one quiet suburban testing ground. The pitch wasn't flawless, though. Later in the deck, they included a competitive landscape slide that conveniently omitted the biggest threat to their business model. This graphic maps out the competition, but leaves off a massive alternative, the customers simply picking up the food themselves. When a founder hides a common-sense reality like this, venture capitalists notice immediately, actively damaging the trust built in the room. Despite that flaw, their final ask was perfectly calibrated. They didn't ask for a vague runway to figure things out. They asked for a highly specific capital injection to pour fuel on a machine that was already producing cash. The slide that secures the seed round never relies on flashy typography or aggressive marketing copy. It works because it provides documented evidence of a market actively paying for the product. That $2.4 million seed round laid the groundwork for an operation that generated $13.7 billion in revenue in 2025. The distance between a polite rejection and a closed round is often narrowed by the order in which you present your case. Take a hard look at your own presentation tonight. Review every single slide through the eyes of the most skeptical investor you can imagine, and cut any claim you haven't already backed up with data. To bypass the guesswork and use a proven structural blueprint, our VC-ready pitch deck cake gives you the exact sequence required by institutional capital. For a one-time payment of $497, you get full ownership with 0 recurring fees and lifetime updates. You can find the link in the description below. You can always choose to manually audit and repair your own narrative flaws for free, but if you want the exact roadmap to a funded sequence, it is ready for you right now with a single click.